Isn't it possible that he's just like growing it a little bit at a time? Like not going full-fledged streaming setup out the gate, just like small, a little bigger, a little bigger. Famously, that's the Leo Carlsson development plan.
That's true.
So
it could be. Yeah, that's true.
I gotta ask you, you're a big you're big on visuals and stream setup and aesthetics, and you obviously have a lot of moving parts. One of my favorite things that happened this weekend was we got to look at Leo Carlsson's streaming setup. Not even a streaming setup, his gaming setup. And oh boy, it is one of the toughest gaming setups I think I've ever seen in my life. I had to cook it. That's a look at the streaming setup there. It is...
He's showing piss there. Does that count as showing piss?
It is a tiny little... I don't even know if you can call that a desk. There's trash on the floor. There's a tiny little monitor. Can we give me some of your feedback here on this streaming setup or gaming setup?
Okay. It always surprises me because I've done, during post-COVID or even around COVID, where players, I interact with the players a lot at their house and whatnot. And some of the backgrounds, it's very odd because you assume professional athlete, rich, will always have this extravagant no matter what they do. That to me reeks of a person who brings his console on the road and is a minimalist in that aspect. Because one thing that I can't do is I can't bring my stuff. I remember, I'll never forget, I had a trip to Vegas a couple years ago, and as a content creator for Hockey Ultimate Team, one of the biggest events was happening at the time. It was the fantasy hockey event, and I knew it was coming. So I had to lug my PS5 all the way from Toronto to Vegas. And it was the most obnoxious thing to carry around. And I can only imagine that if you're traveling and you're a gamer, also Keegan Colasar, great Hockey Ultimate Team player. He is cooking players in the community, and he has a 99 overall card, so that's how you can tell. And so shout out to him because not only does he hit a lot of people in real life, but he's also a very good NHL player as well. But that being said, that looks like, hey, I'm on the road all the time. I want to, you know what I mean? I'm very rarely home, so my console's always coming with me. But good Lord, that's, I think it's just hilarious that picture even exists.
I think that's such a cop-out excuse because he can have the PlayStation 5 in a place that's easily detachable and movable and be able to put it in a suitcase while also having a respectable streaming setup. And
it's a mess,
so far from respectable. His chair doesn't even have arms. It doesn't look comfortable. There's garbage on the ground. The PS5 is on the ground on a carpet, which is bad for heat and protection. All of it is just gone horrible to me. So
he needs assistance there. We need to get a bigger TV, wall mount it. If he needs a second PS5, I'm sure he can afford it. But yeah, I agree. There really isn't an excuse for it. But when I saw that, I was like, I thought that was his hotel room.
Same.
And I was like, oh, okay. Well, that, you know what I mean? A lot of the guys bring their stuff. When I saw that tweet though, it got me because I can't imagine trying to bring my setup.
Isn't it possible that he's just like growing it a little bit at a time? Like not going full-fledged streaming setup out the gate, just like small, a little bigger, a little bigger. Famously, that's the Leo Carlsson development plan.
That's true.
So
it could be. Yeah, that's true. He's healthy scratching his setup.
He's just doing as has been done to him. That's how he thinks life works.
It brings to mind so I had the pleasure of playing Connor Bedard in some NHL 24 at the media tour last year. And what I did was when any of the players came in, I asked them, like, hey, when was the last time you played NHL? And if they said, 10 years ago, if they'd ever said it, then I knew that I could play a certain mode with them and be fine. If they didn't, like Jacob Trouba, I played a shootout because it's, just whatever it is, what it is. It's very easy, very simple. I asked Connor Bedard, I'm like, oh, he's a kid. Like, obviously, he's going to play some. I'm like, hey, when was the last time you played NHL? He goes, I don't play video games. And I'm like, oh, masters of their craft are often very odd in that aspect and don't get a normal childhood. I'm thinking maybe he got introduced to video gaming late and he's getting this new experience that now he's in the NHL and he can finally maybe enjoy his life a little bit. And he's just dipping his toe in because I'm assuming most of his childhood and a lot of, again, the masters of their craft, especially young ones, they have not really had a normal childhood and they're, too busy ripping pucks at a garage door or skating for hours on end to play video games. And he's just like, this I just need something to plug in, and that's what it is. Maybe it's a little mix of that.
Maybe not. I'm not good at anything, and that is what my gaming setup would probably look like.
Yeah, I at least clean up your room. For some reason, that was being documented while there was trash on the floor. And
yeah, I don't understand that aspect of it. He's got snacks there too. Like it's just, I mean, that's a normal night of gaming. But how does that picture make it to social media? I gotta be honest with you. I don't know.
I don't get it either.
Keep that one in the drafts, brother.
I'm less offended than you two. Yeah. But I understand why you would be very offended.
That, like, I'm on a podcaster's salary, and my gaming setup is strong. It's respectable. It's nice. He's on an entry-level deal, but put some.
Let's be honest with you. You show up to beer league compared to what he's got. Do you think it's the same, setup situation where, maybe
no, I would at least try to look the part. I know that I'm ass.
That's true, I guess.
I would at least try to look good.
Yeah, right. So what would
there's no winning this.
Because even if Pete showed up with some raggedy pads and like an old Cooper helmet, people would be like, "Oh, vintage."
I have to show up with like a football helmet for being like, "What the fuck is he doing? This is embarrassing."
Some real Nicky Cass ass get up.
Yeah.
Get him
a football helmet and mini sticks to play a beer league game. Like, this guy, what is he doing? This is outrageous.
We all silly like the mayor.